try to do everything you can to like lighten it up. But in this video, I'm gonna give you one tip. Neuroscientists have said that it even hurts as much as physical pain. It actually feels like physical pain. It's the same kind of chemicals that are released when you are rejected as when you are like cut a knife through your hand or something. And it actually makes you more stupid. Or said in a more beautiful way, it lowers your IQ. And you are unable to think straight. And you try to think constructively, but you cannot. And you ask yourself, why? Why me? Is it because I'm weak and sensitive? No, of course not. It's not because you are weak or sensitive. Even psychotherapists have realized that it's an evolutionary thing. It's something that we are born with. It's within our genes that we want to be accepted and acknowledged by a group of people. It's a kind of survival strategy for us. But unlike physical pain, that if you fall off from a bike or hurt yourself, if it's not a major thing, but if it's a small, minor thing, it goes away. You don't remember when you fall off that bike, how it hurt your knee, and you get up on that bike again. But with rejection, it's a completely different story. Because you try to not think about it, but you do think about it. And it can be with you for years. And be reactivated every time you encounter a situation that is similar to that situation where you were rejected. Or see a person that reminds you about the person that rejected you. So it goes on and on. And you don't help it because often you keep on talking about it. You just think about it in your brain, or you actually talk about it with other people. But sometimes rejection is also so painful that you don't want to talk to anyone. You just want to cuddle yourself, hide yourself in some kind of the dark corner where you will not be seen by anyone. And in that dark corner, you're asking all these questions. Why me? Why didn't he love me? Why wasn't I selected? Is it because I'm not good enough? And my diaries from the past, they are filled with all these kind of questions. But there's not just this physical and social aspect of rejection. It's not only that makes it so hurtful. It's because it like gets you into your own individual core. You wanted something. You needed something. You wanted that man. You really needed that job. It was something that was so desirable and you didn't get it. They said you were not good enough. So it touches you to the core. It perhaps was a school that you really wanted to get into, or a person. And your friends, they tell you that, oh, something better is coming along, or he was not good enough for you. This will make you grow and make you stronger. And you hear all these things and you want to believe them, but you are actually just sad, and perhaps you also feel ashamed. And sometimes you get mad. You get really mad. You want to kick some ass. You shouldn't go as far as to kill someone, of course not. But rejection can produce these kinds of emotions. You are so mad that you just want to delete something. But some small kind of madness, just a tiny bit of madness, is actually a good thing. Not this uncontrolled madness that makes you do stupid, like criminal things, but this small amount of madness is actually a good thing. Actually, a bit of anger is a signal to both your brain and to your heart that, stand up for yourself. It didn't happen recently, so it's not important to me anymore. But at that time, I really felt rejected by a pig man. He was really a pig man, because I don't want to be cruel to the pigs nor to that man, but he had some physical similarities with the pig. And that pig man, I was sitting with him in his room, and he said to me, we were just talking about other stuff, and suddenly he said, you don't have a future. And my mind was like, what does this guy mean? I don't have a future. Am I going to die? No. Why? Why don't I have a future? I didn't ask that question, but my mind was like, keep on trying to figure out what this person meant. I don't have a future. And then, after a very long pause, he said, you don't have a future at this department. And that is not the only time I felt rejected. Believe me, I felt rejected in so many areas of my life. Relationships, works, schools. Trying to write a book and no one wants to publish your book. I got a dissertation published, but that's not the same thing, because they kind of have to publish it. But other kinds of books. And every time I felt that rejection. And there is one strategy for rejection that many of us uses, and we tell ourselves, I will never ever do this again. I will not expose myself to this kind of intense, sad and shameful feelings again. I will not. But as we all know, that is not a very good strategy. But you want to be constructive about it. You want to find ways to deal with it, because you don't want to feel this way that rejection makes you feel. So you look for tools. Perhaps you go to Google, you Google something, or you go to YouTube, or you find a self-help book and you read that self-help book and try to figure out what kind of ideas will help you. Or listen to an inspirational speaker. But all these kinds of mental reasoning, trying to find a way to accept and handle your rejection, is like telling yourself it happened for a reason, this happened for a reason, it's part of your growth, this will be a good lesson for you in the future, but it's all mental. And then there are some tips on how you can deal with it in another way, focusing on self-care, for example. When you have been rejected, you should meditate, take a long bath, take a long walk in the forest or on the beach and so on. And I'm all for all these self-care strategies. But let's be honest, when you feel rejected, when I feel rejected, my mind is spinning. I cannot sit down and meditate or walk because my mind is tormenting me. So there seems to be two options. Either you go all to this, I'm a victim, I feel bad, I will never do this again, I'm sad. Or you try to mentally solve it. And some say there is another option too. You can investigate it. You can stay in the pain. That's interesting. No, it's not, because it's very difficult to stay in the pain because you don't want to feel all this pain. And some say you should remember that it's not personal. It's not about you. It's your book that they didn't like. It's not personal. He wants another kind of relationship, not the kind of relationship that you can offer. But let's be honest, it is personal. When you're rejected, it's personal. It's very, very much personal. It's like taking you to the core of your being and saying, you are not valuable. And some say that rejection is actually redirecting us to something else. We should find another path, or another man, or another hobby. We should not be writing books, we should do communal theater instead. Or we should at least be aware of the fact that rejection opens up new doors. But if rejection is redirecting us to something, what is it redirecting us to? It's redirecting you to you. Because it's just a signal. It's a signal telling you that you don't love yourself enough. You don't appreciate yourself enough. You don't praise yourself enough. You let other people's views on and about you matter more than your own views about yourself. So all there is to rejection, actually rejection is not the problem. The problem is that you don't value yourself. So it's a signal telling you it's time for you to love yourself, to find ways for you to love yourself. Because the funny thing with rejection, if you look upon it as a coin, and you switch that coin, on the other side of the coin, there is also this thing that you also reject people. You reject things, you reject opportunities, you reject a lot of things. And when you reject other people, friends, love partners or whatever, you feel good. Often you feel good. You feel as if you're saying yes to yourself. No, I didn't want that. I didn't want to eat spinach or a Brussels sprout or whatever. I want to eat this. So you say yes to yourself. But if you turn the coin, and when you are rejected by someone else, it's also a good thing. But it takes some time for your brain to process it. Because the good thing with it is that it's an alarm clock for you to start to love yourself. I wish someone had told me that when I was like a toddler or when I was in school. That all there is to rejection is that it's a signal, an alarm clock telling you it's time for you to love yourself. You know about that chocolate cake? You see that chocolate cake? It's good. It's yummy. It's very, very good. The chocolate cake is you. There will always be someone who don't like chocolate cake. And if you are one of those, you can imagine a bag of potato chips instead. But this chocolate cake is you. And you like it. You want it. You need it. That's you. And how to love yourself. Self-care, yeah. But as I told you, it might not work in this situation. But actually taking a spoon and eating your chocolate cake, one piece at a time. And every time you take a piece of your chocolate cake, you tell yourself, I love me because I'm smart. I love me because I'm mostly happy. I love me because I have beautiful birds. And for every bite, you have to make up a new reason for why you love yourself. You cannot repeat just the same thing. And if chocolate cake is not the thing for you, take something else, a bag of potato chips, and every time you take a chip you say, I love me because. Okay, that was my tip for today, and have a nice day or evening.